2023, October 11, Wednesday. Israel-Hamas war. Proactive steps needed to confront fallout from the war in the Middle East. The surprise attack by Hamas on Israel on Saturday has escalated into a deadly war in the conflict-laden Middle East, a conflict that not only puts the region's geopolitical order in turmoil, but also adds to deep uncertainty to the global politics and economy at large. In response to Hamas' incursion of unprecedented scale and preparation, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, said in a statement, "We are at war." More than 900 people were killed in Israel, while Hamas gunmen held about 150 hostages, according to the Israeli government. As of Tuesday, more than 600 Palestinians were killed. Authorities in Gaza said thousands of people were on each side were injured and displaced, and the death toll is feared to mount as Israel and Hamas continue to exchange attacks. For Korean policymakers, the past-faced developments over Hamas' massive attacks followed by Israel's retaliation should be taken seriously in multiple ways. First, the war complicates the already volatile geopolitical dynamics that has been clouded by Russia's ongoing war against Ukraine. The US-led allies have been focused on helping Ukraine fight on against Russia since February last year. Now they are required to ponder a collective strategy to defuse the military conflict surrounding the Gaza Strip. Aside from the logistical difficulty of paying attention and providing resources to two war zones at the same time, the task of quickly softening military tension in the clash-prone region is immensely difficult. If not impossible, it involves a host of neighboring countries and military groups, as well as those nations with close diplomatic or economic ties with the Middle East. The latest conflict could deepen Israel's later successful moves in recent years to normalize relations with some of its neighboring countries in connection with Jewish settlements and Palestinian statehood. More important is the much-dreaded scenario that the war would spin out of control, dragging other nations into a collective clash. The outlook remains at best murky. As expected, the U.S. pledged to fully support Israel, but given the labyrinthine relations among the countries involved, it is anybody's guess when there will be a breakthrough deal to suspend mutual attacks, at least temporarily. What's certain is that the sneak attack of Hamas exposed Israel's intelligence and security failure in monitoring Hamas militants. Although what exactly went wrong would be uncovered after the end of the fighting, media outlets around the world are already raising questions about why Israel's supposedly intensive surveillance of Hamas activities did not work this time. Israel's failure of intelligence is a wake-up call for South Korean policymakers in charge of security and defense. It faces North Korea, which does not hide its determination to keep engaging in saber-rattling spy activities, including cyber hacking and threats of possible attacks against the South. Compared with Hamas militants, North Korea has far more lethal weapons and systematic attack capability. Some critics claim that South Korea's counterintelligence ability seriously weakened in 2020 when the Moon Jae-in administration stripped down the National Intelligence Service. The Yoon Suk-yeol administration earlier pledged to strengthen the role of the NIS, but there has been no visible progress yet. Another critical issue for Korean officials is the economic fallout. The Korean economy is already confronting the negative mix of high energy prices, high interest rates, and the weakening Korean currency against the US dollar. The Israel-Hamas war could wipe out the government's hope for a solid economic recovery toward the end of the year, especially if high oil prices persist in a way that result in a deeper slump in exports and consumer spending. On Monday, the government held an emergency meeting and announced that there is no problem with the supply of crude oil and gas at this point, adding that it will closely monitor how oil prices and trade figures move. Regrettably, the government's measures show no sign of urgency. If the war expands in the Middle East, the country could find itself in a dire crisis on multiple fronts. It is time for policymakers to come up with proactive measures based on the projection of diverse scenarios in the Middle East.